just so that we are familiar with what I am referring to. Your car will have one or two differentials generally. So, you know, you got your rear differential, which is rear wheel drive cars, and you have a front differential here. This is the engine up here, obviously. So the engine's going to be here. It's going to be spinning inside with the crankshafts. It's going to be an output shaft going to this green mass right here, which is a transmission. The transmission, depending on what kind of car you have, will have a transfer case, which is right here, which will then be able to shift the gears over to activate the front differential, which would be 4x4, four-wheel drive car, so generally a truck or SUV, something like that. Goes right here. And if not, this transmission right here, it's got the output shaft, spins, goes through the transmission here. Then you got a little locking mechanism right here, a little joint, universal joint. It's going to go to your universal. Your universal is also known as the drive shaft. Drive shaft's going to fall all the way down to the end of the car, and then we're going to go into a gearbox back here. Gearbox, how the gearbox works is there's going to be one gear, picture it rotating like this in this kind of motion, and then there's going to be another gear rotating like this in this motion. So if you can picture it, hang on, you got one like this and one like this constantly spinning. So this is what's going on. So you know, you got this here, and then you got this here. You essentially what's going on here is you got, sorry, I take that back. It's not going like this. It's going like this. But as this one is spinning in this, you know, upright motion, this one's going to be spinning in this motion, which is then spinning your tires in the back or the front, depending on which one it is. Now, generally, rear differential is beefier than the front one because generally, if you have a four-wheel drive car and you have a transfer case, as I mentioned up here, you're generally driving rear-wheel drive because it's bad to drive in four-wheel drive all the time. But yeah, so that's what I'm essentially saying. Better to change this fluid in general for me. In my case, never been changed in 17 years, as far as I know, so might as well change that. Although I do want to change that too, and eventually the transfer case. Transfer case is probably the least of my worries because, you know, it barely ever gets used. It's not actually really constantly spinning. It's just these things that are spinning. But, like, you know, might as well change them all. And if not, I might use my cars off-roading if I get a new truck anyway.